Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we got some more Candace Owens. Let's get it.
Conservative activist Candace Owens. She's with Turning Point USA, and she argues African Americans are doing better under the Trump presidency. She's drawn praise for the way she thinks from none other than Kanye West, who has praised Trump, while the president also hailed her impact and contribution to this dialogue. On the other side, we have Georgetown professor Eric Dyson, a nationally recognized expert on civil rights, who argues Trump is emboldening white supremacists. He's the author of 21 books, including What Truth Sounds Like. Thank you both for doing this discussion.
Thank you for having us.
Candace, when you look at that rhetoric and you look at what appears to be a shift in the way Donald Trump talks, do you think he is embracing a type of racial division that is problematic for us to operate as a civil society?
Well, the first thing that I look at is the date of the tapes. It's remarkable that we are pulling tapes, that you've gone into the archives, and we're looking at the year 2000. I think people are entitled to evolve their thoughts over 18 years. The second thing that I think is quite remarkable here is that we're talking about racial division and what sows racial division. I think the fact that every time I'm invited onto this network, I'm being asked to dispute another black person. The black community is broken up in general, and I don't want to partake in any of that. We're just ending a weekend where 71 black people were shot in Chicago, 13 of them killed, and we're not talking about that. Instead, we're talking about old tapes.
We're going to talk about all that. You have a problem?
No, we're not. I have a problem that we're doing wall-to-wall coverage on two
with who you're
tapes that
appearing
are
on
from.
this.
No, I don't have a problem
Candace,
with him.
you have a problem with who you're appearing on this segment with?
No, I'm actually respectfully saying to him that we should both decline tearing apart the black community for the sake of television. And because MSNBC always invites me on to do that, I am declining to do so when our community is mourning the 71 people that were shot over the weekend. We need to stop this warfare and come together and talk about things that matter. And what is going on in Chicago is a bigger topic and should be a bigger topic on this network than what Trump said 18 years ago, whether or not it means that people change over 18 years, which, shocker, guys, they do.
Hey, you want to dispute what she said in the comments? I totally agree with what she just said. You always quick to bring up what somebody did like 20, 30 years ago. When we look at what's really happening in our community, it's still going on up to this day. Violence, the crimes, still going on. So you could bring up whatever you want about somebody past. We still got to fix our problem. We could bicker about whatever, but we're still going to have this problem in the black community. Like she said, 71 people. That is still going on to this day. When was this? It was it was like 4 years ago. Still continues.
Well, I'm going to have the professor respond, but I have to respond on behalf of myself. You knew what you were invited to discuss, and we're happy you're here. It's very important to me in this show that we have these conversations and invite a lot of people of all perspectives. If there's a problem with that, I think you knew what the invite was to begin with. Professor Dyson, your thoughts?
Well, look, we're dealing with a person who has not only radically emboldened the prospects of bigotry in this country, the resurgent, recrudescent hate that he has articulated. If you can't beat him, coin him. So he opposes Pat Buchanan on the one hand when it's to his own political advantage, and then subsequently when the real beliefs emerge from Mr. Trump, we see that his vicious animus toward black people, gay people, Mexicans, Muslims, women, and the like is a kind of cornucopia of hate that has been brashly articulated by a man of manifest lack of serious coherence, chaotic intelligence, and the lack of an ability to really express himself by not only pulling upon the strands of history, but refusing to take into consideration what's going on today. So I think in one sense, if we're going to talk about if we're going to be honest about Donald Trump, he has not helped black people. He has not enabled African-American people to move forward. He's riding a crest and a wave of economic prosperity put in place by his predecessor, Barack Obama. He has refused to acknowledge the centrality of police brutality and unarmed black people being assaulted by people in this country. So
all right, I had to pause him because he seemed like he just don't like Trump. And I don't like when it takes it to that personal level where they don't separate their feelings. Did he just hear what Candace Owens just said? He totally ignored everything she just said about the black community, of us going at each other. He just totally ignored all of that, and that's attacking Trump. He hasn't mentioned one thing that Trump did. Trump, bad guy. And then, wait. Hatred? He wants to talk about hatred. What goes on in the black community? It's nothing but hatred towards their own people. Straight hatred towards our own people. Mugging, shooting, carjacking, you name it. All we do that to our own people. See, that's what I'm saying. He ignored everything Candace just said, and we're gonna blame the white man game. What did Obama did for the black community? Let me know in the comments.
The reality is that Donald Trump, while claiming through rhetoric to be for the blacks, what he has done is undermine the capacity of African-American people to exist in a country where it's not only about the economic facts and the wherewithal that we contend with, it is about the tone. It is about the rhetoric. It is about the atmosphere that has been unleashed here. And Donald Trump has done something very dangerous and destructive. He can't see the difference between an anti-fascist and a person who supports it. He can't see the difference between somebody who's against black people and who is for them. So when he draws false equivalencies between both sides, he negates the ability to say, look, I believe in rational civil discourse in America, but I take a side morally and politically. We are now 53 years to the date.
For a quick second.
53 years, let me finish this. 53 years beyond the date of the voting. Let me finish this.
We'll go to the professor and then we'll go back to you, Candace. Professor Dyson, you can finish and then we'll go back to Candace.
Here we are 53 years past the Voting Rights Act. We've seen the resurgence of an attempt to nullify and destroy that black vote. We've seen attempts to somehow circumnavigate around black political citizenry and agency. So all I'm saying is, if we're concerned about black people, we've got to be concerned about poverty, inequality, lack of access to education, plus the kinds of sorts of violence that we see directed toward black people in this country.
Candace?
All right, before Candace, she's about to go off on him. Before Candace goes off on him, did you notice he's playing the blame game? Like what's going on right now in 2023, well, 2022? The blame game, that's all they do. Play the blame game. There's no accountability. You just said absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Do you see what neighborhood did you grow up in? Oh, he must be one of those that as soon as they got some money, they are out of the black community. They're out of there. I'm pretty sure he's probably living in a very nice, gated community, right? He does. See, this is what I don't like, because you talk about when white people are in power in those community and the votes, right? You've been hearing about this for a long time now. What about all the black politicians, the local ones, that don't do nothing for their own black community? So we're not going to call them out. We're not going to Chicago, Baltimore, Maryland. We're not going to call out all these states, huh? Georgia. We're not going to do that, right? This is why I really don't like when they do this. When they point fingers at everybody else except them, they take zero accountability. Zero. Candace, I know she's about to go off on them. Get them.
Conversation, sorts of violence as being directed towards black people. Am I black? I'm curious if I'm black, because I'm a black conservative, and I am not hearing anything that is said about the fact that about 25 white Democrats assembled to kick me out of a restaurant yesterday, to throw water and to throw eggs at me because I am a conservative that supports Donald Trump. The very same Donald Trump, okay? The very same Donald Trump that has not Obama. Obama did not do this. It's because President Trump has been slashing regulations, and it has brought this economy to a place it has never been at, okay? We have unemployment that's an all-time low for both women. You brought up women, you brought up gays, you brought up black people. Unemployment is at an all-time low across the board. You guys refuse to acknowledge the truth that we are doing better. You want to talk about fascists? Antifa attacked me. This is an all-white gang that attacked me and attacked an all-black police force in Philadelphia, okay? And they claim to be fighting racism. How is it plausible, Professor, that you allow this to happen to your community because you decided that because we are ideologically conservatives, you are okay with this? You're okay with the resurgence of the Democrats.
I haven't said a word.
Don't cut me off.
I haven't said a word.
You just said a lot of words.
I didn't say a word.
Actually, if somebody was counting,
I said nothing about you.
Now you're cutting
me off. I said nothing about you.
No.
I find what happened to you reprehensible, by the way.
I still have to keep it going. Candace, we're going to take a pause.
Candace, I didn't get to finish. You just went on for 5 minutes straight. You're attacking. You're
arguing that you just finish, but if you're calling out the professor, I have to give him time. So Candace, go ahead.
Liberals have been attacking conservatives, and you guys say nothing about it. Blacks were attacked yesterday, okay? And they were attacked because they support Donald Trump. Black support for Donald Trump has doubled since this time last year. You guys can try to pretend that he is pushing in a racist era in this country when, in fact, we know the Democrats are the racists, have always been the racists. The parties never switched, and you should know this as a civil rights person. You know the history. You know the people under the hood of the KKK.
Let me respond.
Were Democrats, and the party never switched. And
Candace, I'm going to give...
Candace is letting them have it. I had mentioned this in about 2 videos before this one, right? I think so. Candace is right. Listen, if you're a black conservative, you do get attacked by the liberals. You do get attacked. I see it in my comments. Oh, black man, how could you be on the conservative side? How could you be for Trump? And not a lot, but I do see it. When I'm talking in the video and I'm pointing out the problems in the black community, they don't like that. How you don't like someone pointing out the problems in the community that needs to be fixed? I just don't get that. And that's like what Candace is saying. It is very true. Listen, you might not like her for whatever reason, but you can't dispute what she is saying. You cannot dispute it. And I think that's what people get so upset about, because you cannot dispute her one-on-one. You can't. Because what she is saying is the truth. Where's the lies that she is saying throughout the whole entire video? Like I said in my last video, right? The left will ignore all the black on black crime that's going on in the black community. They will ignore it. But the minute a cop goes in there and something happens between a black American and a white cop, it's all over the news. It's all over the news. But let's just say it was a black on black crime that happened. You wouldn't hear a peep, nothing. Locally, and that's it.
You should defend what happened to me yesterday and defend our community being attacked because we support Donald Trump, because we understand that we have better economic opportunities under him than we ever had in Obama. And shame on you for spreading in Obama.
Candace, I'm going to give the professor a chance to respond.
Under his administration, he allowed the bloodshed, and Trump wanted to send the National Guard, and the Democrats stopped him. I'm really done with this. I'm done with this racist narrative.
I don't want to have to talk over people, but we have to go back and forth.
Let's talk about the facts.
Candace, we're going to have to take a pause there. Couple things. You're making a personal attack on the other guests, so I have to give them a chance to respond.
Let me respond. First of all,
I also have to say, and Professor, I'm going to go back to you. I also have to say the topic of this discussion that we have tried and perhaps are failing on live television to discuss is Trump policy. The incident that you're referring to yesterday is not necessarily this topic.
It's a Democrat policy.
And so we'd have to gather more information.
Go up to them. It's
so I'm going to go to the professor. Professor, you get a chance to respond, sir.
First of all, I never said anything about Ms. Owens. I never directed any animus, any particular rhetoric, any conversation toward her. So first of all, when she say you allowed it, first of all, I'm not God. I don't control the universe or weather. I don't control the atmosphere, geology, or geography. So I did not point these people toward you. I think it's reprehensible that any human being is, if you will, put out of a particular establishment because of her ideology. I think that that's problematic. So I did not suggest that. Number two, yeah, you are black and I am black. But that doesn't mean that automatically we agree with everything.
Of
course not.
We should respect one another.
Now, what I'm saying to you is that when you talk about me as disrespectful, here's what's interesting to me. You have come on here and, like Donald Trump, reduce everything to narcissistic self-preoccupation and articulation of your. Let me finish. What you're saying here. So now, what happens to Black America happens to you. So Black people are reduced to what? Can you, Ari? Can I finish my point? I didn't jump on her.
Can
I finish my point?
of big
Can I finish my point?
We're out of time. We put aside 8 minutes.
Narcissism, whether black or white, is problematic. Here's a woman incapable of arguing, therefore she articulates and overspeaks people. Bless your heart. Let me finish. What you're saying here, so now what happens to black America happens to you. So black people are reduced to what? Can you, Ari, can I finish my point? I didn't jump on her. Can I finish my point? Can I finish?
Of the culture can't even get recognized. That's what happens when you live in the era of the hocus pocus. Now, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. That's why we're here for these children living under the tyranny of a repressive fascist indifference to black life. That's why our black children must be elevated. That's why Susan Taylor must be recognized. We stand in a culture where a man gets up every day at 5:30 in the morning, excreting the feces of his moral depravity into a nation he has turned into his psychic commode. So I'm honored to be here tonight to celebrate.
All right. I'm sorry, guys. I can't listen anymore to this guy. While he's sitting up there in a nice fresh suit looking real good. I don't understand black Americans like this. Like I just don't understand. Oppressed. Oh, you were successful. You're a professor, right? Like how are you oppressed? I really don't like when they use that word, because our ancestors, they were oppressed. They didn't have the opportunities like you have right now. No, they didn't. It's like whenever you stick all they do is lead the upcoming generation blindly. Because the generation right now, everything is racist. Everything is about racism. When I mean everything, I mean everything. You guys seeing it now. It's at its peak. It's ridiculous. We have so many black celebrities. Hey, I just don't. It's to me, it's funny at this point. It's sad that he's talking about the black community when we do the most heinous things to our own. That's the I don't understand that part. Like, why don't they ever point those parts out? They're blaming Trump for this, and I see a lot of black Americans, and I mean a lot, was saying that we were doing better under Trump than we were under Obama. And that is the truth. Whether you don't like Trump for whatever reason, whatever personal reasons, maybe he doesn't bite his tongue, he lets you have it. Hey, fine. He said a lot of things that I don't agree with what he said. But the black community was doing a lot more better under Trump. That's my personal take on that. And I know a lot of other black Americans feel the same way. Candace went off on him. Hey, she wanted all the smoke. She wanted all the smoke. And it's weird how the host was trying to like cut in between. No, let Candace let her get it off her chest, right? Hey, give you guys think about this comments. It's funny to me when you see black Americans reach certain level of success. They still talk about oppress. When you have success, you have it. What are you oppressed about? It's just sad. Like, and then you got enough to be talking about the youth. You should be showing them that there is a way, because you made it out of there. But no, when they get rich, they get successful, they get some money, you know what they do? They move to a nice white neighborhood or a very gated community. They move up out of there. That's called evolving. And then when you get up out of there, you try your best to make changes where others that will be left behind can make it out of there. But a lot of them don't do that. They don't do that. Give me guys think about this in the comments. Like, all right, you don't like Trump. Like I said, you might not like him. For some reason, they will not give him the credit that the black community was doing a lot more better under Trump. They will not give him the credit. It's like they'd rather die than to give him the credit that he deserved. Give me guys think about this in the comments. And the Biden administration, look what's going on now. And I've seen a lot of videos. I'm going to leave you guys with this right here. I've seen a lot of videos with black Americans being asked publicly who would they rather have in 2024, And guess what the majority of them said? I mean, like 95% of them said they want Trump back. Hey, give me guys think about this in the comments, man. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. You guys have a blessed day.